Hello Capricorns, how you doing? Welcome to your weekly reading going from the 9th to the 15th of November. Coming ever so closer to your birthday season. Now, that's the last 2 or 3 months before the birthday is the moment that we start organising what we want to be doing in the new year. The new year is at the moment from your birthday. That's when your energy cycle then sort of like renews itself. So in the last sort of 2 months, it sort of like calms down a little bit and helps us to be a little bit more reflective about what we've been doing, what we want to continue and what we want to stop and so forth, like New Year's resolutions, basically. There's a little bit of that going on. And the elements at the moment, which we saw on Cymatic TV, I was saying that it's going to be mainly air followed by fire coming in at the end of the weekend. Well, the sun had a different program. It's doing exactly that, but it's brought everything forward a little bit. So that I think the beginning of the week here is going to be very fiery, very passionate in the world for earth signs particularly. And bringing that fire into your life is going to be the biggest issue or the biggest sort of thing that needs your attention really more than anything else. But it is also sort of going to be feeding on that air energy that's been stocking over the last few days, that mental energy. And we can see this on your Astroflower here. There's a lot of air within the system, and that's your part of you that's incredibly logical, incredibly deep within your emotions because there's a lot of water. It's mainly air and water that you got on the base there of your flower. There's a little bit of this fire here on your relationship side, and I think it's going to be that sort of synchronicities, socializing and so forth. So obviously there's sort of like, it seems to be sort of like a passionate sort of thing. This could be with family, friends, community, whatever it is, or one-to-one. But I think it's going to be reflecting as well of what you're living in the here and now in a certain degree. And it's going to be, it comes in from Sagittarius, that sort of fire there. And you can play with it. You can feed it as much as you want. Obviously, if you cut off the air to fire, it will go out. So, you've got a lot of control actually at the moment here. But that fire is going to sort of like tease that sort of air energy to stimulate that water energy, to stimulate that air energy and stimulate the mental sort of side of life. If you saw the messages from energy on this channel, wow, what a message. If you haven't seen it, you really should go and see it. It's absolutely, it was a great experience. Got to be said, an absolutely brilliant experience about finding your true self. Absolutely brilliant for you. But anyway, let's get on and see what's going on in your reading this week here. Let's just get a few messages from the energy and put a few cards. Let's see what's going on. So, like all earth signs at the moment, you are taking the lead in your life, and it's very singular in how you do it. There is a desire, there seems to be like a desire to connect with other people. This could be with your partner, this could be, with family or friends, and this could also be in the workspace as well, of networking in a way. Because you've got a particular path to follow, you've got to be very clear about who you're sort of connecting with more than anything else. Okay? Ace of Swords, this is that pathway and this is that victory I think that you are cultivating within you. It's your crowning glory that's paying dividends, as you can well see here. And it's tied into that air energy. This is where you have a complete, you have a lot of control, Capricorn, over your own success here. You're driving a lot of things. On your relationship side, you get the moon, which plays really nicely for your water energies that are coming through, that you have a lot more water. You have more water than you do actually have earth in your sign. We are one of these full signs like Sagittarius, Gemini or Cancer. We have got more water in our sign than we do have earth. And I think here is you're discovering emotions that are not overpowering, but run very, very deep. So you're very comfortable about being solemn, or you're very comfortable about being totally in love, or you're comfortable about not being in love. It's all of those sort of things. And I think you're discovering an underside of your emotions that is incredibly profound. Incredibly profound. And with that, when you're scuba diving and you go down to the bottom of the sea, you don't tend to notice the waves that are on the surface. That's what I mean. So it's a lot calmer for you because you're discovering this inner energies. Let's just see what's going on your financial side, shall we? It's like, okay, so I'm getting like, imagine like a walled garden where you're planting lots of vegetables, you're providing for yourself, but you provide more than what you actually need. And it'd be nice to exchange it with the outside world. So buying and selling something or creating something that you wish to present to the outside world. And around that walled garden, there seems to be like gates, iron gates with chains on them. So you can't actually open them, which is really frustrating. But that chains and those gates are very rusty. And it's like the chains are being broken and allowing you to take what you have in you and start expressing it or giving it to the outside world in a way that is going to transform what you do within your own personal life, in your own walled garden. And it's going to, it seems like this is where you have the control over your own victory. Absolutely brilliant. On your karmic path, you get the Page of Wands. Yeah, this is learning about, one of the things I did, I've investigated I've investigated my past lives that really mean something to me. And one of the most important past lives was when I was a seal and I was eaten by a shark. And the reason I was eaten by a shark because I was playing in the waves. And it was the lesson that's sort of kind of going, would you prefer not to play in the waves and live longer? And I kind of went, you know what, it was all right. I'd prefer to play in the waves. It's fine. Because I met the shark afterwards and he sort of said to me, I was hungry and you were just playing, you weren't paying attention. And I kind of went, it's like, nice little snack that. So, we got on really well. I got on really well with the shark. But it's like, life should be fun. That's the lesson that's coming through. Life should be fun. So, do enjoy. And look at that. You get the Page of Swords. There's every day's a school day. This is opening up that profound understanding of life that's happening for you with the two pages here. In the connections of the synchronicities or the networking with the outside world, you get the Page of Swords. This is about you sort of like really clearing the pathway of any mist or any clouds so you can really see who you should be connecting to, and then voicing voicing what you want, having your voice and allowing you to play with life. That's really important. And in the past, you get the Emperor. Yeah, the Emperor controls his empire through the physical sort of sense, and I think maybe this is a little bit like that walled garden. Obviously, if you're locked in a walled garden, you do become the emperor of your garden, and I think this is what it's a certain understanding that of that sort of discipline within oneself that you can bring to the fore. And I think this is one of the big understandings that you're doing, that I can do this in my life, therefore I can project that into my business or into my job or into my project. Whatever it is, it's taking control of your own destiny. In your future, you get the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is the farmer, the walled garden, right? He's planting. If you can see in the background there, that's a field that's red, it's ploughed, ready to rock and roll. He just needs to plant the seed, and he's just got that seed, that pentacle in his hand, ready to rock and roll. And I think in the future, this is why I was talking about looking in the past, seeing what you want to take forward, what you don't want to take forward. Just take your time. You've got a couple of months to do that. Just take your time. Don't make a decision today. Just look at every angle and stuff like that. It's going to help you to really sort of like streamline a lot of your options going forward. And a lot of your options, then you can start thinking about investing in, because it's going to take time. You plant a tomato seed, you're not going to see the fruit for 3 or 4 months. And you've got to cultivate that tomato plant all the way through. Ace of Cups. out the top, it is how you engage your emotions in the situation here, with that sort of like general energy with the Ace of Swords. And now you got the Ace of Cups. You got to live it like you're loving it. And I think that's what that whole story about the seal coming through with the Page of Wands. You got to live it like you love it. And, I would encourage that enormously. The general energy that's running through this financial side here, you get the Seven of Cups, and there is only one cup that's giving you the good stuff, and that's you. You, Capricorn, have you got that determination within you? Then go ahead and do it. Follow it. Follow that inner feeling, kind of going, yeah, this is right. This is what I should be doing. And that's that profound lesson that you're implementing, that you've learned. It's not a question of learning here, it's how you implement it. And that's what Pages is all about. How you implement what you've learned. Let's have a look and see what's going on the relationship side here. There's something in the past, and it certainly plays around this fire that connects not only this petal here, which is the synchronicity with the world that is around you, socializing and so forth, but it also sort of like has the foundation that is grounded in your past. And it seems like there's something in the past that's coming to the surface at the same time. So it could be someone that you know already, that, you see them in a different light or what have you. Or you see your own relationship. You might well be in a relationship and just seeing your relationship in a different way. I think in a good way. It seems like in a really, really good way. On your karmic path, you have the Hermit. This is past lessons learned, and I think this is seeing the underside of your emotions, your deep emotions. The Hermit has spent a lot of time in solitary. That's that coming back to that walled garden a little bit. In solitary confinement in a way, to learn a lot about himself, and eventually gets to a point where actually there's nothing left for me to do but just to sort of grab hold of my ultimate desires of what I wish to live in my life, and that's that star, put it in the lantern so it's my guiding star as I go forward. And that's what I think is in your karmic path, of believing in yourself, feeling that deep emotions, and the synchronicities and the connections with the outside world. You get the Magician. You can quite literally, you can create what you want. The Magician has everything on the table there. So I think, because you've learned a lot and you have that star card within you, that desire to live a certain life, you can then initiate that in the connections with the people that are around you. And, just keeping, steady as she goes. Ten of Cups. There is a lot of joy, obviously, that comes and stimulates from that past. As I said, I think there's a realization, and that's what the Hermit is doing to you, and helping you to realize that actually what I've been living in the past, there's a lot of joy there. Some of it may have been difficult, but that's why it's happiness after difficulty for the Ten of Cups. And I think this is what you're realizing, the beauty of the past and letting go of all the complicated bits. And look what you got in the future. You got a Page of Pentacles. You're learning about planting those seeds, and you're feeding it with the water. You're watering your plant, this seed here, with some very deep emotions of kind of sort of real deep realizations that are within you. And I think, as I said, you don't feel the waves on the surface. And because you've got that deep emotion, it's a very reassuring energy that you're expelling in the world around you, which does bode very well for relationship side. How should how are you engaging in the here and now? Yes, you're avoiding a lot of complications with the Seven of Swords there. Seven is a realization or revelation card. It's revealing how to cultivate your happiness with other people, and avoiding sort of conflict that you just don't want to be involved in anymore. I think that's where you're sort of having that deep understanding of what makes things tick for you. And what does that provide? It unleashes the past. That Ten of Cups there is unleashed generally through your life, because you have that one cup. That one cup is you. You know, that's the cup that you're keeping, and you've got it in your financial side. That means you've got abundance to give out emotionally around you, because that emotion runs deep. And it's that revelation of that deep emotions that is feeding all the relationships that are around you and makes you feel very, and it's very, very sincere as well, Capricorn. It's an incredibly sincere relationship side to life at the moment for you. Yeah, really sincere, absolutely beautiful. On the financial side as well, there's a lot of movement going on, and that's why you've got to keep steady, keep on your pathway, knowing that Ace of Swords. And because you know that Ace of Swords, you can allow that Ace of Cups to fulfill your joy of living the pathway that you should be living, and learning and remembering, rather than learning, remembering about your inner child and enjoying the pathway, but also being very astute in the connections and the synchronicities or the networking with the world that is around you. So there you go, Capricorn. A great week for you, as I can, as I see. Don't forget about the messages from energy on this channel here. As I said, it was an amazing messages from energy this week, and also the energy update, which you will find on Cymatic TV. I will see you maybe on the live. In the meantime, thanking you very much for subscribing, liking and sharing. And don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.